Yeah, I know, I could technically go back in and try and look for that katana, but you know what? I don't want to. I'm just gonna leave that for later on. Oh, I hate those katana requests so much. I found more gold chests than I can count in this run of Tartarus and my grinding session, and none of them were the katana, even off camera. None of them were it. I mean, I won't complain about extra homunculi, those are always useful, but anyway. So today is just a generic national holiday, so still no school. As I've said before in the playthrough, Japan likes to make sure that its holidays are all grouped together to give a longer break off of school, so this is probably the case here as well. Today, though, we're going to do something kind of interesting. Something that well, I was going to say we wouldn't normally do today, but I mean, it's something that we're actually doing for the very first time. But hey there, Akihiko. And pretty much everyone isn't saying much different around here today. They start saying different things later on, but for now, everyone's pretty much saying similar things. We already explored Tartarus a lot, but I just have something new to say. Well, yeah, I guess this area was typhoon-proof, thankfully. Oh, hey, I just noticed you off in the corner of my eye there. Yeah, you and me both, Shinjiro. But we're working on it. We are working on it. Thankfully, that typhoon didn't last very long. And I always found this line just so weird. It's just like, would the laundry still be there after all that happened? I mean, they're probably just referring to people who put their laundry out to dry right now, but I mean, if anyone put their laundry out to dry before the typhoon hit, yeah, I'm sorry, but I think it's kind of beyond help at this point. It's probably somewhere in the middle of the ocean by now. So where we're going today is, we're actually going to Polonia Mall in the daytime. This is kind of unusual. Because today, we're actually going to start a new social link, and in fact, I believe this may be the last time that we actually directly initiate a new social link in this whole playthrough, so yeah. That is this guy sitting on the bench here. We've passed by him many times. He's actually been here since the very start of the game, but for some reason, only now does the guide want us to speak to him. So, he's a student at the school. For some reason, he's still in his uniform, even though it's not a school day. Don't know why. Guess they couldn't really be bothered to give him a casual clothes portrait. So, this is kind of funny. This is another one of these social links that you need charm for. The charm requirement for this is very low. This is the rank 2 charm one. So 4 was Tanaka and 6 was Yukari. So this is the rank 2 charm. Once again, we're doing the lowest level social stat thing last. So let's ask him what he's eating. So, at first, I thought that I had screwed up here and that I had to come back tomorrow for him to think up the questions. No, just talk to him again. So, we only went there about 50 bazillion times, so we know that it's pheromone coffee. The mascot for Wild Duck Burger. We've mainly seen that place during social links, but it's mostly green. And now, I forget exactly when this was mentioned. I think it was either in a story scene or in a social link at some point, but it's the Hagakure Bowl. It would be pretty cool if actually this was a trick question, but it's actually not. It's the Hagakure Bowl. So, that's just one of the 2, I guess, locks to initiate this. The second, you have to bring him something that he's never eaten before. Now, he doesn't really give you any hints on what this is. However, at this point in the game, you really should have the item that he wants. Remember how a long time ago I mentioned that we're actually going to be needing this odd morsel later? This was why. And yeah, you only ever need one. They're extremely common in Tartarus. Chances are you've got one by this point in the game. Suddenly, I like you now. Because you have given me weird food that gives me bad status ailments. Yes, Gary Stu's perfection makes everyone look like the uncool one by comparison. Well, already this is not off to a good start. Police, I guess? Again, being a rank 1, what you say doesn't matter. And that's really ominous. But at least we've got a name for this guy. Should we really be getting acquainted with someone who has people like that following him around demanding stuff? And this is just such a weird line. I mean, normally you'd think it would be the other way around. So yeah, we found that out from before. And this line is pretty amusing, actually. You'll see why in a moment. But for now, we have begun a new social link. Finally, we have begun the Moon Arcana. The Moon Arcana. This is actually one of the more complicated ones to discuss. I'll try and get in as much as I can here. In some contexts, the moon can be just as bad as Tower or Devil, while in others it can actually have quite a positive meaning. It's also got several different meanings though, so, like I said, pretty complicated. First and foremost is illusions, and the idea of things not being what they appear. Characters represented by this arcana in the series tend to follow this theme by having hidden depths and being more than they seem. But also, these characters tend to be trying to be someone they're not, and have lost track of their true self in the process. It also represents deception in general, and the idea of not quite knowing where your path in life is taking you. It also represents fear, and projecting your deep-seated fears onto other people. In fact, the Moon Arcana itself is generally associated with the concept of shadows in Jungian psychology. And if the Moon Arcana shows up in a tarot reading, it's often taken to mean that your shadow is causing problems for you at this point in your life, and that you'll need to confront it. Ironically, there are no Moon Arcana generic shadow enemies in the series, and there's only one Moon Arcana shadow boss, which in some ways isn't even a real shadow self. So that's kind of interesting. On the positive side, however, the Moon Arcana is associated with creativity, inspiration, and dreams, and also the ability of being attuned to the world around you, a strong subconscious mind, and even psychic powers in general. In Persona 3, the Moon Arcana is represented by Nozomi Suemitsu, a food-loving student who spends most of their time in Paulownia Mall. To initiate this link, you need rank 2 in Charm, which at this point is, yeah, we're pretty much long past that point. And you also need to give him an odd morsel, though something that I only learned recently, rancid gravy apparently also works, though the chance of you not having an odd morsel by this point is extremely low. Anyway, Nozomi is, well, he's often considered to be the most forgettable social link character in this entire game, and it's telling that he barely makes any appearances in spin-off media at all. Generally, most of the other social links tend to get cameos, at least in things like the movie or drama CDs. Nozomi barely gets any appearances. And this is actually pretty sad, but I think it really says something that when I was going to edit this episode, I was about to, and I actually forgot completely to make this bio, because I totally forgot this link existed. Yeah, that really, really says something. Sorry, Nozomi. It's just, yeah, I would agree that he's probably one of the least memorable social links in this game. And there are two factors that really don't help. One, the Moon Arcana social link in Persona 4 is really well done and one of the most interesting social links in that game. And two, the Moon Arcana social link for the female protagonist in Persona 3 Portable is Shinjiro. And having to compete with that is, well, yeah, very, very difficult. We'll see how his personal storyline connects to this Arcana's symbolism eventually, but I'm with a lot of the fandom in thinking that he's definitely not the most interesting link in this game. And just as the Moon Arcana is very varied in its symbolism, so too are the personas of this Arcana. They tend to fall under several different categories. There's sometimes mythological figures directly associated with the moon. Due to its meaning of fear, illusions, and deceit, it's also another catch-all arcana for general evil deities, like Devil is. Mythological figures that also involve illusions also tend to make their home here. These personas tend to be physically inclined, and a lot of them use poison skills. It's a bit of a weird combination of skills to have, but that's the general pattern that I've noticed looking at all of them. Though as a sneak preview, seeing as we won't max this link for a very long time, the ultimate persona of this Arcana really doesn't follow this pattern at all. So yeah, this thing... Wait for it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but the text box earlier kind of beat you to the punch there. We already know who you are. And then this line's kind of funny because it makes me think of Vote Gourmet King 2012! I mean 2016! So that was weird all around. And I should mention that by starting a new social link, I actually meant we're going to be putting this one on hold for a very long time and totally ditching him. Because, yeah.
Welcome back.
I think the only reason we started this one today was because we had nothing else to do with the day. But yeah, we don't actually continue that link for a long time. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, you're not saying anything different. Pretty much everyone here says the same things they said in the morning. So, actually though, there is something that we can do tonight. We have a free Tuesday for the first time in a little while. You know what that means? Yes, it's finally time. Tomorrow we have something pretty major that we need to do. Well, actually not really all that major, but something that we need to do at least. But this time, like I said, our Tuesday night is finally free, and that means that we can speak to Tanaka. No matching persona required. Let's go. And we still have this music. Have we had this music every single rank of this link? I think we actually have. Wow, really? I did not think that you had it in you. But, well, you know, yeah. Of course he'd have ulterior motives for donating. Of course. Well, of course, Gary Stu can understand this kind of thing. Yeah, well, Gary Stu has a lot of experience in that area. Yeah, of course. You're like, okay, yeah, I may be donating, but I'm gonna phrase it like I'm still a jerk. It's not like I'm donating to charity or anything. Thank you letter, and he's just giving it to us. This is the weirdest reason to donate to charity ever. Only this guy, people. Only this guy. But I mean, I suppose that he has at least maybe developed slightly. Yeah, he's still pretty much a jerk though, but at least he's a jerk who sometimes does nice things. That's development, right? And well, I suppose it was enough development for this. We have maxed out the Devil Arcana. This one's pretty much a freebie, like I said at the very beginning. As long as you talk to him whenever you can, it's guaranteed you'll max this one out. And well, yeah, there's pretty much no way that you'd break this link without really directly trying. But yeah, with the maxed out Devil Social Link, we can create Beelzebub, Lord of Hell. Beelzebub is a powerful demon depicted as a fly, and is sometimes considered synonymous with the devil, though in other sources he is merely one of the 7 princes of hell, and is often associated with the deadly sin of gluttony. Beelzebub's appearance in this game, and in fact the whole series, is based off an 1863 illustration from... I'll just put the name of the work up on screen because I suck at pronouncing French names. Beelzebub's name means Lord of the Flies, and is often thought to be a pun referencing the Canaanite deity Baal, as a derogatory way of referring to the then enemies of the Israelites as flies buzzing around a dung heap. Gameplay-wise, well, the first thing you will probably notice is that Beelzebub is way beyond our level at this point in the game. Level 81 is, yeah, this is for much, much later. Once we get to that point, though, Beelzebub needs a hexagon spread fusion to summon. I think that's the first instance of this we've seen. Now, unlike Cross and Pentagon, hexagon spread fusion immediately becomes available once you first unlock a persona that requires that fusion. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yes, I'm not going crazy, that is how it works. Okay, so by maxing out Devil, we should have unlocked hexagon fusion. As for the actual components, in the vanilla version of Persona 3, Beelzebub just required you to fuse all of the other Devil Personas together. That changed somewhat in FES, because FES added Beelzebub's human form, Beelzebul, as a Moon Arcana persona, so naturally that persona is involved in this fusion. Beelzebul is just a regular Moon fusion, it's just level 71, so we won't be able to get that for a long time either. The other components are Incubus, Succubus, Pazuzu, Lilith, and Abaddon. Basically all the Devil Personas except for the lowest 2. Now, requiring a special fusion means Beelzebub is somewhat restricted in the kind of skills that it can inherit. Its inheritance type is banned status, like most Devil Personas, and the components are probably going to give it a good variety of those kind of things to choose from, though mostly Charm and Poison from the kind of things they are. Oddly enough, Beelzebub doesn't actually learn any status moves naturally, despite that being its inheritance type, but its natural skill set is very, very good. In addition to having some pretty solid stats, let's look at those skills. So, we have Margarodyne and Marzeodyne. Interestingly enough, despite Devil Personas usually being associated with fire, Beelzebub is in fact weak to it and uses Thunder and Wind, but still pretty good to have high-level magic spells. Makarakan to reflect magical attacks, High Counter for a 50% chance to reflect just any physical attack, in addition to Nulling Strike, which is pretty cool, and Primal Force, which is the strongest Pierce elemental attack in the game, and at level 87, the big one. Victory Cry. This is pretty much the main highlight of this entire skill set. Everything else is just absolutely nothing in comparison to the ridiculous brokenness that is Victory Cry. Victory Cry fully heals you after every successful battle. So, considering that an unsuccessful battle is a game over, the only time you won't be fully healed is if you run, but basically, every time you win a battle, you get fully restored. With this skill, you never need to worry about running out of SP ever again while exploring Tartarus. And you can just spam physical attacks with impunity, not worrying about your HP, because after the battle it'll all come back again. Also saves on healing for your other party members. This skill all round is ridiculous, and there's a reason why only the highest level personas in the game learn this. Beelzebub is not the only persona to get this skill, there are others. But having this skill makes it a very valuable persona indeed. Because yes, this skill can be passed down via fusion, and that's where things get really crazy. If you can pass this skill down via fusion, do it. It's really that good. In fact, I might call it one of the best skills in the entire game, if not the best. I should mention that Victory Cry is also a prerequisite to one of the most game-breaking strategies in the entire game. I'm talking you never need to worry about any fight ever except for the final boss game-breaking, but we'll cover that much later. In terms of its elemental abilities, Beelzebub packs quite a lot of immunities actually, nulling Strike, Thunder, Wind, and Repelling Darkness, though it does have a weakness to Light, which is a pretty major problem on something this strong, especially seeing as that it doesn't learn any weakness covering skills like many other Ultimate Personas do. However, Succubus is one of the components for it, and as you've seen in my earlier videos, Succubus learns Null Light, so passing Null Light onto Beelzebub is definitely worth your while. However, none of the components for its fusion learn any skill that nulls, absorbs, or repels fire, so that weakness is set in stone, unfortunately. I guess it just kinda comes with Beelzebub being a bug type. As a random note, I still can't believe there hasn't been a bug dark type in Pokemon. It's just kinda weird, that's one of those type combinations that hasn't been used yet, but I digress. One final thing about Beelzebub is that it is required for one of the ultimate weapon fusions. This requires any Nile weapon, it doesn't matter what type. And if you fuse it into one, you'll get the Corpse Rod, which is the strongest bludgeoning weapon in the game. Basically axes, hammers, those kind of things. That's not my favourite weapon class overall, but hey, it's another ultimate weapon. And yes, being the outright ultimate weapon in that class means that, like all ultimate weapons, it comes with plus 10 to all stats for whoever equips it. So, definitely pretty good to fuse that weapon if you can, though, like I said, I'm not a big fan of bludgeoning weapons overall. So, yeah, Beelzebub is pretty powerful, but much later in the game, yeah. Level 81, way beyond us at this point, considering you can pretty much max out Tanaka whenever you want. But, well, the fact that you can max him out whenever you want means that this is a persona that even people who go through the game casually, as long as they realize that Tanaka is this easy to max, are probably likely to have access to by endgame, so that's another bonus. And yeah, no Beelzebub for a really long time because it is way beyond our current level, so yeah, I mean, I don't know if they didn't expect you to max this one this early. I mean, you can pretty much max it as early or as late as you want. And yes, that's our max social link item for this one. And of course, Gary Stewart appreciates people talking about adult stuff. Well, yeah. That was obviously gonna fall through. But at least he seems appreciative, so yeah, like I said, he's still a jerk, but he sometimes does nice things now. And yeah, no reason to study now. So that was a pretty interesting day, and today is also kind of interesting, but for a completely different reason. Kind of the exact opposite, actually. Yesterday we started a new social link and maxed out another one. Today we're going to be doing no social links. It's the Autumnal Equinox, so no school, but remember earlier it was mentioned that they were holding a film festival again? It's only for one day though. There's really only one reason why they do this. So we should see if any of our dormmates are interested in going. Well, there's only one dormmate that we haven't taken to the movies yet, and that is the only reason this day exists at all. Now, like the previous time we went to the festival, this character is someone who, well, at least in this version of the game, doesn't have a social link. So, if you want to go to the shrine and spend today increasing points with a different link, you can go ahead and do that. The activity that we're doing today is purely for flavor. If you need to make up time for another social link, you can use today to do that. You don't actually need to go directly. Now, let's see what's on TV. Huh. Well, I mean, you still haven't tied it to the moon phases. I'm pretty sure you should have done that by now. So if we talk to people here... Well, yeah, Gary Stu's charm already working on people. And you're still saying the same thing. So, this is actually kind of interesting. It confused me for a moment when I first did this. If you talk to Shinjiro right now, he's just talking about being sick. And doesn't really say much. In order to actually access this event, you need to talk to Fuka first. She'll mention the one-day-only film festival. And then you have to go and talk to Shinjiro afterwards. And then you get the option. Kinda weird, that. So, you're the only party member that we haven't invited to the movies before, so let's do it. Well, I mean, he's only like 1 to 2 years above. It's not really that big of a gap in age. Actually, I think just 1. But yes, time to go to the movie theater once again. This time they're showing the Incredible Pet Story series. I wonder if Koromaru... I was about to say I wonder if Koromaru would like this, but sometimes pets get very, very weird when they see movies involving animals. Yeah. So, how will he react to this? And we get a pointless courage boost. Maxed that a long time ago. So yeah, that is actually a pretty great scene. I like that. Not as... I mean, I like the Koromaru movie. That's probably one of my favorite ones, but that one's pretty good too, actually.
Welcome back.
So, yeah, hi there. No one's really saying anything different, and yeah, I've already explored Tartarus a lot. And yeah. Speaking of physical condition, did you know that we just made your best friend cry? Probably. Well, we can agree on that. Let's see. Is he doing... And there we go. Yes, he is. If we say this outright, though... Yeah. I hope he was just joking about that, and he's not actually trying to deliberately get us sick again, but yeah. Now, there isn't many people down here, so that means that up here we're probably going to have another amazing episode of Junpei's Suggestion Box. And, once again, Junpei never fails to deliver. Yeah, they're definitely more dangerous than she is. And, well, I already trained in Tartarus quite a lot, so... haven't really talked to you yet. And for some reason, Strager is all like, no, we don't want to do that. We'll just let the world be destroyed, even... Yeah, their logic doesn't make any sense. Huh. Just realized something. I don't think Ken's here. Now that we know where his room is, I just want to check something. Okay, he's there, but not really saying much. And here's the thing, tonight we really don't have very much to do, because we've already maxed out all 3 of our... In fact, I don't think I've actually shown this, so, we'll go to status here. Yeah, this is... I like how if you read all of them, you get basically a full description of your character. So Gary Stu is now a genius, charismatic, badass. I've always liked reaching that point. I'm kind of annoyed that in Persona 4 you can't just read all of them in order and get a full description, because all of them are adjectives, so there's... yeah. Without a noun in there, it's kind of hard to... You get like a sage, motherly, saintly... Wait, no, saintly is the... You get like a sage, rock-solid, saintly... I actually forget what the max courage title in that game was. But anyway, they're all adjectives, so it doesn't really work that way. But we could just try going to the arcade. Okay, so Lucky Fortune is available. Now, the weird thing is, I always thought this boosted luck, but okay, I've got Pravati. Pravati could use the boost from this. I always thought this boosted luck, but for some reason, you'll see. Never actually done this one before. Now, I feel like this is a reference to something that I'm not getting. But yeah, for some reason it increases magic, not luck, even though it's called Lucky Fortune. Anyway, no reason not to just sleep every night at this point.